Gate. All right, old bag. What, you're still here? Oh, really? You look as though you've seen a ghost. What? I saw that suspicious look on your face. I wanted to ask you again about yesterday. You came here at 1, correct? And the estimated time of the hammer's death was 2:30. Are you sure that Powers was the only one to go through here between these times? Sure as can be. But we have a witness who thinks there was someone from outside here that day. That's a very good thought, Dim. Shouldn't the weapons they use be fake? I'd imagine they would need to be. I mean, it broke in that little scene it was showing us. Are you absolutely sure you were here watching the whole time? Ma'am? Who was it? Who told you that? Who dares question me? Oh, you better tell me quick and you spiky-haired cretin. Someone's been complaining about the work I do, huh? I mean, we were just talking to the assistant in Studio 1. Her? She's not even a full-time employee. All of you youngins are like that nowadays. Running mouths so there was no one tomorrow. And the scene that we're now starting to tell you that we're going to do about the others back where they didn't cry. So you use about poor lazy. Roar! I love Old Bag. Well, Nick. Well, there's still a hole in the chest, Dim, so even if that you think that's the reason there isn't much blood, that tells me I think he was killed somewhere else. Can we look at the computer? Nick, maybe we can see that photo. Yeah, maybe. Should I try the computer? Try it! Let's give it a try. You know how to work these things, computer? Or Nick? Looks like I just have to enter a few numbers. Let's see. First, I need the day of the murder. Looks like the camera turned on at 1. 1, that was when the security lead arrived at the guard station. Please enter the number of the security camera. I want to say it was this one, and now I feel I should have written that down. It printed out the data for that day. Let's see what we got. Well, it's not actually Will Powers, and it looks like the person's not very tall comparatively. Because unless your feet are supposed to drag that much in your pants. How is this a picture of Will Powers? Well, he is the one who always wears the suit. I guess that's why the security later thought it was him. I don't imagine the detective was pretty happy with this photo as evidence. Something's printing on the back. October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Where's photo number 1? That's the only one in the computer? Somebody's hacking the computers. Hey, Nick, can we use the photo as evidence for trial? Well, even if you had a limp, Dim, like, the way this picture looks, it just looks like the pants are sagging way too much. Like, the person wearing it isn't as tall as the regular Steel Samurai. That's what pops into my head. I can agree with the limp, though. That could be it. We'll put that security later in her place for this. We'll put her in her place. That's what I said. Anyway, let's show her this photo and see what she says. Wait, let's not. Why not? It's never a good idea to reveal your hand to the enemy too soon. Nick, you're craftier than I give you credit for. Well, why could you be the next... Well, you could be the next evil magistrate. Ooh. Why do I have to be the villain? Just a joke. So, are we done for today? Looks like it. I think it's the photo we needed for the trial. Still, it'd be better if we had some idea who the real killer was. Maybe it really is a security lady. It's standard for security guards to delete pictures that don't seem to have significance. Okay. I mean, but this is back in the time when we used the word bushed, so I don't know if that practice was active back then. District Court. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well, I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well, I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. I'll explain the guide mapper here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio, see? This here is the employee area. Actors did a run-through of the action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. Security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. Her name was Penny? And the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that at 1, the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to the later that day at 5. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was canceled. Yeah, there's like no blood anywhere. Time of death was 2:30. Samurai spear was found lodged in the victim's chest. Was the murder weapon? I'm vaguely remembering a few of the things that was in this. That's the case in brief. And we'd like to hear that again. No. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. The spear was found stuck in the chest of the victim. Your Honor, the case is quite simple if you ask one question. The question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood? Let's call this security officer to the stand. Because my name is Miles. Will the witness declare her name? Aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. She went like happiness. Hold on. Shiny? Okay, there we go. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witness to say their names. Wendy Old Bag, dearie. Wendy Old Bag? Wendy Old... No, okay. Just call me Grandma. So when I was young, I was an old bag. So the other children make fun of me. Can you believe it? I was thinking about chess, but they called me an old bag. I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, see, I was. To get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you? You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She is sure one. Yeah, she's an old bag. Jeebus. Alright. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through since this morning. Well, I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30, right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked by right at 2. It was Powers, the man right there, and he was headed toward the studio. You saw the defendant then? Very well, let's begin the cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. We got this old bag in the bag. Fight me. Hold it. So up until that time, anyone who walked to could get into the studio? Well, there wasn't a security guard at the gate, no. But the main gate was locked, dear. You need an employee card key to get in. Card key that I have. So what she's saying is no one was supposed to be there, who wasn't supposed to be there, could get in. Was there anyone at the studio when you arrived at the guard station? Poor old Hamer at the recipe. Run through this. I don't think it's important. What errands did you have to run? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Also, if you notice, she has a ring on her finger. Someone married that. Never missed one in all my years. I want to see it run through. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Anyway, it was 1 p.m. when I hit the guard station. Did you see the victim then? Did I see poor old Hammer? Nope. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station. Tell us what happened next. Main gate from there until 5. So you're watching there the whole time? No breaks? Not even a second? Of course! I'm a professional, you know? Or are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper? It's just, after seeing you eating those donuts at the guard station yesterday, I can wash the gate and eat donuts at the same time! I can do that too. Snipper whapper! Making up words. Old windbag is losing it, Nick. Why don't you raise an objection? So witness was on duty from that through the afternoon the whole time. Very well. What did you see? Now the murder happened at 2:30, right? Yeah. How'd you know that? Oh, I have my ways. That overdressed young detective told me. I fed him some donuts and he talked and talked. If you ask me, that detective isn't cut out for his job. Poor gumshoe. Interesting to me because a certain man walked by at 2. 2, you're sure? Sure as spit. Who was the man? Really, you should try not to get so excited at your age. You might strain something. She has a lot of cheek wrinkles. Means she smiled and laughed a lot in her life. Interesting. Nick, happy Tuesday, dude. How you been? It was Powers, that man right there, and he was headed toward the studio. Oh, there's an ad? Okay, I'll wait for the Twitch ad to be done because I don't put ads on my channel. That's what I say. Get your wax out of your ears, sonny. I think this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out the secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him. This one. Objection. Let me get this straight, old bag. Or Miss Old Bag. Nick, happy Tuesday. I was saying, how you doing, man? Hadn't seen you in a while. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about this man in the photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Shunny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of Steel Samurai, but that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. I was born last century. No one in this court is accusing you that of, Miss the Witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in this photo is Mr. Powers, do you? Nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me, this isn't as good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Binbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof then. Man, Old Bag's gonna be a recurring character. It's freaking awesome. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. See, there's prop, not spear. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You see, he's dragging his leg. See, clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? That still doesn't help. So he sprained his ankle. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's got to be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Squeal. I bet you don't. Whippersnapper! I haven't even said anything yet. I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. I do it to their face. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow. You today always whining about each other, pointing out things that make me an old man cry. Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. I think Edgeworth has met his match. Hold on. I was like, I don't want to press on every one. We're going to just trip and fall. Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Let's skip over that part. Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue with your testimony. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. He broke a prop? Sure did. His own samurai spear. The murder weapon? Luckily, I was there with duct tape to fix it. If it was broken, how did he use it to stab through somebody? The break in the shaft has been mended with duct tape. I mean, duct tape's pretty strong, to be fair. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. You imagine that Goldbag would be an amazing grandma? To her grandkids, everybody else, she'd be like an evil person. Was it badly sprained? Not so bad, he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. That's the map. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot, okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? There is one thing that's been bothering me. Which is? Where is the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that is not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Will Powers. No, it's not. That's not clear. That's not right. You're sure, Your Honor? I object. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities. We have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. Fence has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that a possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. Witness's account continued. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30. The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers, Steel Samurai. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen him. So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be this Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine. I don't have anything to cross-examine, really. Hold it. How do you know that? Didn't I just explain I gave the donuts to the young detective? Yeah, he just secret pal, okay. Trivia, how many coffees does Godot say he'd be done before drinking? Isn't it like a dozen or something silly? He drinks so much coffee. The only person I saw go through studios was Will Powers. But it's not... Are you absolutely sure? Quite, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. Right. Wait. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before 1? Everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention... I'm trying to remember the small little details about this one and I can't. The witness has answered the question. Anyone going into the studio had to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, edgy boy. Edgy boy? 17? I was close-ish. Not really. Old Windbag sure has balls. Well, you know what I mean. Old windbags have a way of skipping over important details. Or for that matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you two to look forward to, huh? So what do I have here? This does say photo number 2. Is this it? Yes! Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sirree, Sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here, I thought you didn't know your hand from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed words, October 5th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even though I know that means it was taken at 2 p.m. on October 15th. Really, Shani? Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says, photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I want to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not one, but 2 people went to the studio that day. Yet there was only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady. You watch your mouth, you whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that would... Yeah. Could the witness explain this to the court? Yeah, I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help! Huh? Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Huh, some help you are. You're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, old pussbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. The other person. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos, record on the securities, and check them. I throw out any photos that are suspicious looking, you see, that are not. You nailed it there, Dim. Come to think of it, now I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, that's the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny. I've only just remembered it. Anyway, Mr. Wright, please can begin with your cross-examination. A turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Old bag. Old bag. We'll just push. Maybe we'll get some funny dialogue. Another job? No. That's right. I check all the people that pass by the main gate. I look closely at every one of the photos that security camera takes. Do you back up all the security camera data? Well, they keep telling me to. But those computers are so frustrating. She didn't back it up. How exactly do you determine what isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces, for the most part. Most part. This is a murder trial, Miss Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch the suspicious looking Will Poto's powder, did I? I think she's missing the point. Come to think of it, hold on. Give me a press. Well, who in the heck was that in that photo you erased? Huh, a fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh, who knows where. They're always hanging about. One was there that day. Wait a second, didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The gate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, that's where they can come in. They came in through the drain. I told you they were freaks. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers. Kids. So on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. That's kind of important. Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg, the other was a boy who looked about 2nd or 3rd grade. Yes, well, you see his top there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if nigh impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Possible, I think it's quite heavy. As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. And they're already trying to unsuspect him. This court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Old bag. Freaking old bag, man. Mr. Powers? Yes? Tell me this straight. Where were you really? Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go out to the studio? I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So who was the Steel Samurai in the security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where's this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick! What are we gonna do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. Okay, we're gonna pick either old bag or the mysterious person that's not there. The court will convene. Mr. Edgeworth, will you please read the prosecution's thoughts on the matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studio was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. That was a pretty short 5 minutes, if you ask me. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict guilty for the defendant. Brick's here! And we're about to go beyond. In a second. Happy Tuesday, sir. I know you're here too, Fantasia. You were the first one here. Defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you'll be penalized. Right? As if the stakes weren't high enough. Okay, what are our choices? Assistant, grade school, or security? Pretty sure they're gonna shoot down the being a schoolboy. Everyone could probably think it's the old bag, though she's too dumb to do it. We could do the assistant girl? Pretty sure they're gonna shoot that down. Pretty sure she's gonna be annoyed like that. I'm gonna go with assistant girl. It was the assistant. The Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai. So you're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant? The girl's name was Penny, I think. That's correct, Your Honor. If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Bad feeling time. Remember the testimony concerning Power's injury? Powers and poor Hammer had a run-through. Oh, and me. What about the assistant? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Power's ankle. Or balls. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Power's injury. She could look the Steel Samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She wouldn't have limped. Kind of takes the legs out from under that case. Well, ball sack. Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you. That's fine. We have 2 more choices and a lot of help. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. One more chance, please. Go ahead! I'm gonna have to go to schoolboy because I really don't want it to be Miss Old Lady. Schoolboy. It was the grade schoolboy. Why doesn't anyone say anything? Are you seriously suggesting the boy did it, Mr. Wright? Grade schoolboy kills veteran actor star with spear. For one thing, the murder weapon was the steel samurai. Would you care to explain just how the boy would have obtained it from him? I know, we're just trying to blame somebody. We're trying to get more time. Maybe that was the dumb move on my part. Maybe? Oh gosh, we do have to say it's old bag? Fine, it's old bag. Wendy Old Bag. Who? The steel samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about the morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through? There was only one person, other than Powers and Hammer, who knew about the injury. The security lady, Old Bag. What? Whippersnapper? Take that, Old Bag. Order! Is this true, Old Bag? Old Bag? That's Miss Old Bag to you. Miss Old Bag was standing guard alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the steel samurai costume. Then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the steel samurai costume? Whippersnapper is something a Potter puppet pal would say? Probably. Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Yeah, right there. Sherlock Holmes the second, baby. That's odd. Isn't it the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection to some new danging evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so y'all think I did it, is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something. What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way? Give her a break. Kinda makes it look like she's the killer. Funny, I feel bad for her all of a sudden. It's true that the witness could have conceivably committed this crime, yet we must not forget that the victim was an action hero. As formidable as her personality may be, I doubt she'd be strong enough. If he removes her from consideration, that means Mr. Powers did it. Sorry, Windbag. Don't have a choice. The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive, too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Nope, she's gonna remember this. Old Bag will remember this. Wait just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy, the one with the photo I erased. He's only a grade schooler, though, you said. Second or third grade, was it? That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds, tops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Or has it been nice to the kids and mean to your elders' day, whippersnapper? Oh, I just got the beep in my headset that it's running out of power. I forgot to charge it like a dingus. Yeah. Ooh, wires. Ew. I have proof. Proof? Indeed. Then let's see this. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder. You need a keycard. I think. Take that! Scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a keycard to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studio have a card key? Well, would the witness care to comment? The windbag. Speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend some proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Wendy... What was her name? Something old bag, Your Honor. And the prosecution will look further into the old bag before we continue. That is all. This court is adjourned. We got another day! Woo! Wait a second! I'm not gonna just sit back here while you're running off barking the hole up the wrong tree. Me! I'm talking! Oh great, stop the presses. The windbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what's this about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not talk about? By whom? Yeah, it wasn't Edgeworth that told her not to talk? Testify! My lips were sealed. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're gonna go accuse me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free. More people she just forgot about. This is crucial information. Why'd you keep this from the court? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap and always do what I'm told. No, you don't. Liar. Objection. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. What the heck? The gavel hat, like, landed. So we're told not to talk. That's right, by the studio and TV bigwigs. Why didn't I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We were all in on it. Yeah, and the court continues. Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer, for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? That's a good point. Fantasia, that means a lot about the judge because I know about the judge. Of course. Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was falling over. Well, Mr. Wright, or would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but continue. Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder. I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on this. Wow. So you got your bonus and you still talked. I think I've asked all the questions. No, keep going. This is silly. I want to hear it. Oh, wait, was it the end? So they told me to... Okay. So they were actually at the studio. Yes, the whole day. When they heard about the murder, they beat it before the cops came. Oh, we get inner monologue from Edgeworth. Cool. Feel sorry for Edgeworth almost. She really left him hanging on this one. Them? Who are these people? Oh. Yeah, we did this part. I like the skip picture. It's been pretty good. Take a break. Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. Court acknowledges the defense's point. Prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people who've just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends today's proceedings in the trial of Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned. Gavel slam. For the second time today. Thank you very much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me. Oh, really? It's nothing. Oh, or should I say... we'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in the Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been Oldbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Jeez. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Oh, poor Windbag. No. That's fine. She wasn't winning any points in there, with or without my accusation. Very true. Okay, let's get down to the studios. We'll be back to visit you soon. Thanks. Thanks, guys. I can actually sniff when he sniffs. It's pretty good, actually. I forgot how many chapters this